Hi, I'm Aver, and I'm making a video game. I have been posting daily updates for 365 days, which is a year, and that's crazy. And so, in honor of reaching 365 days, I've decided to make a recap video to show you what a year of development can look like. And then I will give some tips coming from what I learned the past year that could maybe be helpful for other aspiring indie developers. When I decided that I was going to actually make this video game, my knowledge of what to do was fairly minimal. I am mainly an artist, and so I draw the pretty pictures, and I do the pretty character designs, and I feel the feelings, and then I think of a lot of lore, but I don't actually do anything with it. I didn't know anything about the actual steps to making a video game. I didn't have a lot of previous game dev experience. The most was I helped some people on like a small project that never really got finished, and I did some like character designs and 3D modeling for that, but other than that, basically no clue about how to like make games. And so when I started, I first focused on what I already knew. And I think that's a good place to start. I did some character designs. I got into the story, got the storyline of the game figured out, important moments and characters and things. And then as time went on and I started to get a vision for what the game could look like, that's when I moved on to trying to figure out how to make this game actually happen. There was a lot of stumbling in the dark. I didn't really know what I was doing, didn't have a clear direction, but I was at least doing something, and I think that is one of the most important things. Even if you're not doing the best work, if you're at least doing something, that's better than nothing. And you'll eventually get to where you need to go, and you can readjust, but just keep moving, you know? Are you making a video game? Are you an artist? Are you just a cool person in general and want to exist in a cool community? Fantastic. I present to you Discord server. I made one. I made it a year ago, and I haven't published it. My brother and I were talking, we were like, you know what? 1 year sounds like a good time to finally publish the Discord server, so join the Discord server. I hope to gather a bunch of cool people who are interested in games and stuff and just have a good time. If you join early, you get a special role, and it's just to remind me that you were there early and that I appreciate you in a special way. I haven't decided the cutoff yet. We'll see. Between days 100 and 200, I finally had an idea of what the game was going to look like, and so now it was time to look into how to actually implement that. It was also during this time period that I finally settled on a goal. Making a game is a very big, broad concept, and when you're just like, I'm going to make a game, that's nice, but it feels very overwhelming, especially if you have a larger scale game like I do. It's good to break it down into smaller pieces. So, because I have no experience making games before, I picked a section of my game and said, I'm going to work on this section, and I'm going to build out the characters, build out the story, build out the world, etc., until I feel like it's good, and then I'll move on to the other sections. And it helped me to set goals and to know what I needed to get done and to not feel as overwhelmed, because I wasn't focusing on the whole thing, I was just focusing on a smaller part of it. I would recommend that, especially if you're like me and this is your first game dev experience, to pick a section of the game and focus on that. I narrowed down some of the skills that I needed to develop in order to be successful. So for example, I'm not good at animation. It's something I don't really have a lot of experience with. So I started practicing animation. I started practicing asset creation and experimenting with how the game could look visually. I also started practicing music composition. So for that period of time, I was doing a lot of skill building. There wasn't very much concrete stuff to show for my progress, but I was making progress. And then starting around day 200, that's when I really was able to actually get into making the game itself. I finally settled on an engine. We decided to use Godot because it's free and doesn't have a history of having issues like Unity does. So I started getting familiar with Godot. Watched so many tutorials about how to make a video game in Godot. I would be Googling basic things like how to put sprite into scene in Godot. And as time went on, I got more and more familiar with Godot. I was finally able to settle on an art style, finally able to start building assets and rooms, and I was able to start to see this world come to life. My brother is doing the coding. I'm not the only one working on this, and he has been able to start getting mechanics added, movement spells, room transitions, etc. And I am so grateful for that. That's cool that you're making a video game, but what is it even about? That's a great question. Here's the spiel I give every time I'm asked that question. It's a 2D side-scroller puzzle story game. Your country is at war, and you're trying to end the war with the help of a guy who lives in your shadow. You play as Ray, who somehow finds themselves in the middle of the enemy country. They have one goal: survive. As they try to find their way home, they start to uncover secrets about the war and both countries that had long been forgotten. I view it a lot like an interactive story. I am less concerned about mechanics and more concerned about narrative and how I make you feel emotions. Yes, there are mechanics, of course, but they're there to supplement the story. And now at this point, I am looking towards the future. On my end, as the artist, I would say I'm approximately 75% done with the demo. So I am looking on to the future and the full game and starting to design other areas. However, with coding, a lot less of the demo has been done, so that's going to probably be what takes the longest. That having been said, once the coding for the demo is done, most of that is transferable to the other game. So once the demo is done, it's mostly my job to do stuff. A lot of things can happen in a year, and it's kind of crazy to look back. First of all, it doesn't feel like a year has passed. Like I feel like I just started this yesterday. What do you mean it's been a year? But it's also so cool to look back and see all of the things that I didn't think I could do a year ago. It was so overwhelming for me when I started looking into Godot, and when I started looking into all of the things that I had to do to make a game. I was like, this is impossible. I can't do any of this. But I stuck with it, and I'm very happy I did. Even if every day is just a little bit of progress, that progress adds up over time. Some tips for my fellow indie devs who are maybe in the same place that I was a year ago of, I want to do this thing, but I don't know how. First of all, if you can find someone to cover for your weak points, do that. I know it's very easy to want to do everything alone. I understand that I have a hard time working with people. I like to take full control of everything, but sometimes getting help from others is like the most beneficial thing that I could have done. For example, coding. I don't enjoy coding. I have no interest in learning, and I have no background in it either. I have a background in art. I have a background in music. I have a background in writing and storytelling. I at least had something to go off of with those, but with coding, it was a completely new skill that I would have had to build from scratch, basically. And it would have taken a long time, and I would not have had fun. And so instead, I found someone who could cover up my weakness. He can take charge of the coding, and I can focus on the artsy side. There are a lot of communities online that are very helpful. I mean, I specifically know about Reddit communities. There's like an indie dev Reddit thing. There's also communities for each different engine. And so you can go there to get help with specific problems you're dealing with. It's very nice to get that outside opinion from other people who are more experienced. So take advantage of those communities online. Just because you're an indie dev doesn't mean you have to be doing it alone. There are so many people that are so willing to help if you just reach out and ask. Another advice I have is it's better to do something than nothing at all. Some days, if you look back at my videos, my video was, this is day X of making a video game. I didn't do anything because I was playing Hades 2. And that's perfectly okay. Or sometimes it was like, today I thought up one thing of lore and that's all I did. But I did something, and the act of me making that video helped me to continue the momentum that I had built, so I could then have other days where I was a lot more productive. Sometimes the quality of my videos are super polished, and I add a lot of captions and editing, and then sometimes it's just a quick little 10-second update. And both of those are perfectly fine and perfectly valid, because for me, that 10-second video is better than not posting a video at all. Even if it's a video of me just looking in the camera half dead and being like, I did nothing. I did something, but I'm too tired to make a video. That's okay. You don't have to be perfect right now. You will build up the skills to be perfect later. Well, not perfect, but better later. And so as long as you're doing something that helps you keep the momentum going, future you can take advantage of that. And future you is building off of the stuff that you are learning right now. I remember with the music making, I hit a spot, I think around day 100-ish, maybe a little before that, maybe it was after, where I was really mad and struggling so much. I was like, none of the music I make is good. I don't know how any of these music softwares work. I'm just so stressed out, and they're saying words and I don't know what they mean. I don't know what to do. And also, the startup cost for making music is more than $0, and I am a college student and have no money. So it was difficult, but I didn't give up. And now I am very proud of some of the music that I have created. So if you're feeling down, just think about your future self and how your future self will be very grateful to your past self for sticking with it, you know? At least I hope. Please be nice to your past and future self. Thank you. Another advice I have for my newer devs is, especially if you're like me and your project is ambitious, give yourself the time you need for your project to be good. If you're inspired by Hollow Knight or Hades or any other big indie game, those take years. Be okay with that and allow yourself the time you need in order to make your game that good. Even if you're not at the point where you're able to make that kind of game now, your skills will eventually get to the point where you can, but you're gonna need to allow yourself that time. I didn't have a name for my game until 3 weeks ago. And I'd been thinking about it since the beginning, but nothing happened. Nothing felt quite right until approximately 3-ish weeks ago when we were like, That's good. That's good. Whatever your timeline is perfectly valid and perfectly okay. Yes, there are some things that it's better to do in certain orders. It's better that it happens late than happens never at all. There's a lot of advice that goes around in the indie developer sphere, and I would say not a lot of it is wrong. It just depends on who you are as a person. Listen to it and then be like, is this helpful for me or is it not helpful for me? And if it's not, that's perfectly fine. The most important thing is that you are able to actually do what you want to do. Now, what is the game name, you ask? Haha, great question. So, I am not sharing it yet because I'm trying to get some legal stuff figured out and I'm trying to get the Steam store page up. Once I get the store page up, then I'll tell y'all the name. That I'm planning on doing on day 400, so in about a month. Check back and you'll be able to see the game name and probably wishlist it on Steam finally. Get excited for that. Good luck to my fellow indie devs. I love y'all. We indie devs have to stick together because the gaming industry is brutal, but it's also very, very fulfilling. Again, reminder, Discord server. Join the Discord server. And that is what 1 year of development looks like. If this interests you, please subscribe. And you can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I am also on Twitter, but I don't really use it. And I think I'm also on Tumblr. I plan to continue posting daily updates for the time being. There will be a point in which I stop that, but this is not that point. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you later. Okay, that's all. Bye!